English is the most widely spoken language on the planet. It is over 1.4 billion speakers worldwide, and it is used as a lingua franca, a language of business, travel, and trade. But why is English so widely spoken? And why is it spoken like it is today? The answer to the first question is the British Empire, and then the American Empire. The answer to the second question is somehow more complex. The shortest answer that I could give you starts in the year 1066. Today, we will be talking about the year 1066, more specifically about how the Norman Conquest affected the English language. Now, I'm not going to get too into the nitty gritty of the Norman Conquest today. I'll leave that for another day, but I will give you a quick rundown just for context. In the year 1066, after the death of Edward the Confessor, Harold Godwinson assumed the English throne. Unfortunately, some people thought he was an illegitimate king and wanted to claim the throne for themselves. Harold Hardrada, the king of Norway, was one of these people, and William the Bastard of Normandy was another. In September of 1066, Harold Hardrada landed on the north shore of England, but was defeated and killed in battle by Harold Godwinson. Unfortunately for Harold Godwinson, a few days later, on the 28th, William of Normandy landed on the south shore of England. So what he had to do was march his army all the way down to the south of England and then fight in battle. So William had the upper hand and defeated the English and assumed the English throne. Now, what this created is that it created a linguistic class difference. The nobles were all French, having replaced the old Anglo-Saxon nobles. So all the nobles were speaking French, while the commoners were still speaking English. This, as you might expect, had a great effect on the English language. For one, it brought in a lot of words related to government, such as parliament, court, judge, royal, duke, and more. It also changed how words are viewed. So while a commoner might have a shirt, a noble would have a blouse. A Norman would have a chamber, while a Englishman would have a room. One thing you may have noticed is that the word for the food is often different from the word for the animal. This is because the people who were growing and raising the food was different than the people who were actually eating the food. So while a poor Englishman might have pigs or pisig, or sheep, skip, or cows, coo, but the Normans would have pork, pork, mutton, motan, or beef, woof, or bouif. I don't know. I don't speak French, modern or old. And it also affected where people lived. House is a English word, while things like manor and mansion are French. But these class differences brought hundreds and hundreds of words into the English language. A good portion of words, especially the more technical they are, came from French or Latin through French. It also changed how our verbs work. There's two different types of verbs, strong verbs and weak verbs. Strong verbs, the vowel changes as it changes tenses, like run, ran. In weak verbs, only an ending is added, like help, helped. But it wasn't always like this. Even today, in some dialects, help is conjugated as help, hope, holpen, and even more recently, drug was the past tense of drag. Now it's dragged. The Norman Conquest also changed English grammar. It actually made it more simple. We used to have more case endings, like in languages like Russian. We used to even have a grammatical gender. We had three genders: masculine, feminine, and neuter, much like German. And all is this to say, if If you ever have trouble with English, just blame the French. It's very easy and very fun to just blame the French. I use it to solve all of my problems. Thank you for watching.